All right, so let's get right into it. Today we're talking about this really unique experience called Pirates Megagame. And look, this is a game where you're not just, playing a character. You're literally forging a legend right in the heart of the Caribbean.
And right at its core, this is not just about, cannons and buried treasure. The creators actually call it a simulation of Caribbean life. We're talking about the very tail end of the golden age of piracy here. This was a time that was, yes, incredibly dangerous, but also packed with amazing opportunities.
So what is this game, really? Well, imagine you take the character progression from a role-playing game, right? Then you add the strategy and the map from a board game, and on top of all that, you throw in the collecting and resource management of a trading card game, kind of like Magic or Pokemon. You mash all that together, and that is the wild, hybrid world we're going to explore.
Okay, so let's drop you right into this world. The year is 1726. You've just arrived in the bustling port of Bridgetown, on the island of Barbados. All you've got are your wits, maybe a little bit of coin, and a whole lot of ambition. The very first question the game throws at you is simple, but it's huge. What are you going to do?
And that's because this is what's called a sandbox game. The easiest way to think about it, it's kind of like Minecraft, but with pirates. There's no one single path you have to follow. But here's the really cool part. It's a persistent world. That means the game keeps on going, trade routes are changing, other players are building their own empires, even when you're not logged in. The world literally evolves without you, just waiting for you to jump back in and make your move.
So, the big question is, how do you make your mark? Where do you even begin? Well, it all kicks off with something that's going to feel pretty familiar to a lot of you gamers out there. Believe it or not, your entire journey, your entry into this whole world, it's all inside a single booster pack. When you buy one of these packs, you're not just getting some cards, you're basically buying your ticket to the Caribbean. So inside each pack, you get 15 cards. Now, these are going to be your starting resources, your initial gear, but the most important cards in there represent the one thing you absolutely cannot live without. And that's time. Every single pack gives you a full 7 days to spend inside the game. And trust me, time is everything. It's the most valuable resource, and it gets broken down into
49 actions. Yep, 49 of them. These are your chances to do stuff, to work, to sail, to trade, to build your legend. Every single choice matters, because once that time is gone, it's gone.
And just look at the variety you get in one pack. Besides that super important time card, you're getting silver or gold coins, some starter fame and experience points, maybe some raw materials like timber or wool. You might even get a card that lets you build something right from the get-go. Every single pack is a totally different start to a brand new story. Okay, so you've got your cards. Now, how do you go from being some newcomer to a total legend? Well, this is where the role-playing game part of it all really starts to shine. Everybody starts with a completely blank slate. You've got 5 core stats. There's strength for fighting, agility for all that swashbuckling stuff, presence for being a leader, intelligence for things like doctoring and perception, and wisdom for seamanship. To kick things off, you just add 1 point to any 3 of them. That's your very first choice in deciding who you're going to be. And here's the best part. Every single action you take in this world earns you experience points, or EXP. That EXP is what lets you level up. And when you level up, you get more points to boost your stats and pick up new skills. It's how your character gets stronger and more specialized over time.
So what can you actually become? Oh man, the options are huge. You could be a feared captain, leading your own crew, or maybe a master shipwright, building the best ships in the Caribbean. You could even be a distiller, making a fortune off of rum. Or hey, what about a surgeon? A quartermaster managing all the supplies. A shady fence dealing in stolen goods? You could even rise all the way up to become the governor of your own island.
All right, so you've got your cards, you've got your character, but what does it actually feel like to play this game, turn by turn? It all comes back to that one word, action. Remember those 49 actions from your pack? Well, each one represents a little slice of a day, about 1/7 of a day to be exact. And it's basically the money you spend to get things done. You want to travel? That costs an action. Need to work for some silver? Yep, spend an action.
And the whole process is actually super straightforward. First, you look at your cards and check out your position on the map. Second, you decide what you want to do. Third, you just type a simple command into the game chat. And finally, the game master, that's the person running the show, they resolve it and tell you what happened. That's it. It's really that simple.
And the commands themselves make a ton of sense.
You type sail to move your ship, work to earn some money, build lets you, well, build something on your land, and a command like process is how you turn raw stuff, like timber, into valuable lumber, or maybe sugarcane into molasses for that sweet, sweet rum.
So what's the whole point of all these little actions, right? Well, they start to add up. They're the building blocks for much, much bigger long-term goals. Let's take a look at the kind of empire you can actually build. Okay, so one of the biggest goals in the game is to own your very own piece of the Caribbean. For 100 gold pieces, which is a lot, 1,000 silver, you can buy an entire estate in a legendary spot like Nassau or Tortuga. And that becomes your home, your permanent base of operations.
Or maybe you're more interested in the open sea. You might start out small, maybe in a rented boat, but the scale of what you can build up to is just huge. You can go from a little 1,000 silver sloop with maybe 6 cannons, all the way up to an 11,000 silver galleon. We're talking a floating fortress with 50 cannons.
And really, your ultimate goal is completely up to you. You can focus on building things, decking out your estate with a distillery or a shipyard, or you could chase fame and glory, trying to become the most legendary captain on the seas. Or maybe you're an explorer at heart, and you just want to visit all 18 zones on the map and find some unique treasures. The choice is yours.
Which brings us right back to where we started. It all begins with just one pack of cards and a single choice. From that tiny, simple start, this whole world of possibilities just explodes open. So really, the only question left is, who are you going to become?